I got two questions for you. So, what number should everyone be striving to be at on an annual or decade basis?
As far
Because
as how
if Jalen Brown got 340, what's
304.
Jason Tatum? 304. What would
Yeah.
Jason Tatum get next year when he renegotiates then? 350?
Yeah,
well,
around
that's
there.
what I'm saying. It's a unique moment, and we'll talk about Mbappe, who got turned down 776 million. But I personally feel like it
I
depends
wouldn't
on what it depends on where you live. But if you live in a city, I don't know. I just feel like if you make anything, if you live in a city like New York or surrounding areas, I don't. I just feel like it's extremely difficult to live if you're making anything over less than $100,000 just to live.
Mhm.
It's just to live.
Yeah.
It's going to be extremely difficult
Yeah.
to live.
That's great. I broke that number down with my son the other day. Just because I wanted to give him context of like what $100,000 is after taxes, especially in New York, after rent, right? And we just base it off of paying 30%, right? Most people say like you want to pay around 30% of your monthly income should go to your living, which would bring it down to $3,000. After we did all that, his car, his groceries, his phone bill, he realized he had $500
It's
to spend for
sobering.
the month. And that was just him as a single person. Like that's not him with. I was like, well, you gonna have a wife or a girlfriend? He was like, we're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna have to eat cheese sandwiches. I'm like, well, all right, let's see how long that stays around. But like,
How
what
that
he's
stays around? Not long.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like 100,000. I think it has to be more. I think that's like the bare minimum, especially in a state like New York.
What number gives you comfort or freedom? Because that 28 million number that I said to be rich, it does not sound so crazy now.
No, well, I think that I think $10 million. That's been my number as far as to have and to live comfortably on like an annual basis.
Yeah,
I think that you got to be pulling in $500,000
minimum, right?
Yeah.
If
My
we're gonna have
financial
honest talk and just talk like it's just us,
Yeah,
there's
no,
no
now
audience.
my financial advisor told me this at when I was 26 years old. You might know him. He's sitting next to me. He's like, look, the number 10 million. I was like, what you mean it's 10 million? He's like, it's 10 million. If you have $10 million, if you invest that in a fund and get 3% annually, that's 300,000 a year. Can you live off the interest of that? And I looked at myself, I was like, yeah. And so in my mind, I was like, 10 million. It's crazy that you just said that. We ain't prompt that, but he told me that 20 years ago.
10 million has always been my number. 10 million has always been my number. But I don't want to discourage people because I don't want to seem like, I know obviously most people don't have $10 million. Most people aren't making $500,000 a year. So I'm not trying to discourage you by saying these numbers. But I mean, you asked me a question. So I just
have to
gotta
give the honest answer.
Just got to answer it. And this is why marriage is important, right? Because it's like, okay, you might make 200, your spouse might make 3. Now that's 500. Right, where it's easier for two people to make 500,000 than it is for one person to make 500,000. But yeah, I mean, I just got to be honest with you because I just don't see it. Now. Obviously, if you're living in Wyoming or different things of that nature, then it's a lot different. But I just don't see it happening. And I know people that make 250 that are living paycheck to paycheck, and it's like it's different. You live in Washington D.C. and something like that where it's extremely high cost of living.
San Francisco, same thing.
Yeah, LA.
Like,
it's crazy.
Arizona. It's tough.
And the sad thing about it is it's only getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
We see inflation is going up. Like it's only getting worse. So this is why when you watch Market Mondays,
inflation going down, interest rates going up.
Over the course of time, inflation is always going to go up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's always going to go up.
Yeah.
So it might go down short term, but over the course of time, 10 years from now, inflation is $1 today is not going to be worth $1 10 years from now.
You're right.
So it's like, when you watch Market Mondays, part of this is you have to figure out how to earn money, business and all of that. This is what we provide during Earn Your Leisure time. But Market Mondays, another part of it is this is why it's important to invest money.
You have to.
Because you have to have your money working for you, and your money, and that's another stream really of revenue that is growing through income that can be provided through investments, stock market, real estate, crypto, different things of that nature. So it's important to learn these things because if you're not educated properly and you don't know how to invest and you don't have a business, I don't know how you ever reach any level of financial freedom. And that's not a good place. That's not a good place to be in.
I mean, while I'm tearing through the pages, hold on, let me cover this up real quick. For those who need a recommendation, Barron's is a good resource. Wall Street Journal, Money Master the Game, I've talked about before. Go through this information every day as you're seeing, like, and this is what I was saying last week about Disney. If one of the greatest media companies in the history of America is having some trouble, you don't think the individuals are having trouble? Like, that's what I'm posing to the audience. Like, I know the perception on Instagram is everybody's balling, everybody's okay, no one has any financial concerns. Trust me, if Bob Iger publicly is going on TV and say, hey, may have to sell off ESPN, they're not doing so because they haven't looked at every resource possible and how to get ESPN to be profitable. So if they're having trouble, the average person is having troubles in their home. Even like when I had a conversation with my mom and dad too, like they were having a conversation with me about the Kathy thing too. And I was like, yo, you got to make the pivot to be prominent in a hedge fund space because who knows when that door is going to close. I can't take for granted that that opportunity will be there or any other opportunity is going to be there. Like the time is now. So like even when we do these shows and there's a certain level of like determination that you see, it does. I don't take any of this for granted. The show, the loyalty for Red Panda. I always say it. If Cardi and Jason Momoa get together, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's my doomsday scenario. Like Cardi figures out how to trade futures, it's over with. She does a show. What I'm gonna, you have to prepare. What I'm trying to stress to everyone tonight is like prices of everything is going to go up. And even if you own a house, yes, you may get a great interest rate, but you still got to pay property taxes, and those can go up depending on where you live. And the richer you get to, there's going to be more ways for people to find a way to get money out of your pocket. And then on the other side, the people that you take care of may not be loyal to you after you take care of them. Look what Diddy did for Ciroc. I'm going to be real. I ain't know nothing about Diageo before Diddy got there. And they screwed him out of a deal.
We will talk about that at Investors. For
like,
sure.
What? He probably, 100x their business?
Conversation worth having.
All right. The warning.